Today, I'm going to be upgrading my G-Shock's default mineral lens to this gorgeous sapphire lens from AliExpress so that I can match with my favorite G-Shock design. But first, a quick update on the story of this G-Shock. In my last video, we installed this epic AliExpress steel upgrade kit, and didn't it come out just beautifully? And if you missed out on that video, I'm leaving a link for you above. So just take a nice close look at this beautiful sapphire lens. This is what we're going to be installing into my M5610U, and it's not the first time we've tried to install it. We did also attempt to install it in this B5600 series, and I ended up killing this watch in my failed attempt by ruining the waterproofing. So if you haven't seen that one, I'm leaving a link to that above. But ultimately, we're going to use the experience that we gained to make sure this installation goes perfectly. So here's my GWM 5610U wearing its steel upgrade kit from 2 weeks ago, and as much as I have been loving the design of this watch, it's still not perfect. As amazing as this watch looks with its current lens, it simply does not match the original mecha design which I set my heart on. I want it to look like this, the original. For our upgrade today, we will be using a few tools which I will be organizing for you into a list below if you'd like to attempt this yourself. So settle in, smash that like button, and let's get into the upgrade. The first thing we're going to do is remove these 4 bezel screws. Now, one thing that happened the first time I tried this is we scratched these with the screwdriver. So I'm going to take some advice one of you guys left in the comments. Sai says, take a piece of masking tape and attach it to the screwdriver so that you don't have an issue with scratching it. So we're going to do that now, and thank you, Sai, for your comment. So let's see if this works, or if we're going to have to trim it a little bit. Oh, that works perfectly. Alright, with the bezel unscrewed, I'm wondering if we can now just pop this up. Yep, so that's very simple. And yeah, check it out, guys, and that does look a bit ridiculous without the bezel, doesn't it? With the bezel removed, it should now be relatively easy to just use these finger spring bars to just lift up on that. There's one, and here comes number 2. Too easy. With the strap and bezel removed, we are now ready to remove the 4 screws on the back plate for the very first time. But just before we do, I need to recommend our first tool to ensure we're ready for the job. So we are going to use this Lubri joints, which is a special grease designed for watch O-rings. So I want to have this at the ready so that when we open our watch, it's just a matter of dropping the O-ring in there where we can safely store it so that it won't dry out. So let's crack into the back of the watch. With the watch now open, I want to prioritize getting the O-ring, which has got stuck to the back here. So we're just going to use our tweezers to remove this and chuck it straight into the grease station. There we go. I'm now just going to use a toothpick to gently coax this module out of the housing without damaging it. And you want to make sure you have it somewhere to put it where it is dust free. So now that it's loose, just going to grab that, and we can just place this there without getting any dust on it. And there we can see the solar panel as well as the screen. We have just hit a major hurdle which I don't think we can come back from. Here's the deal. Take a closer look at the inside. This solar panel appears to be actually surfaced on to the lens, which means if we remove this lens, we remove the solar panel, and our watch can never be charged again. I did not expect this because in the previous upgrade that I did, as you can see, the lens does not have a solar panel on it, and the lens that I removed from my B5600 did not either. So I've just been onto the AliExpress listing to see what the deal is, and look what I've found. Apparently, the 5610 series, which is the watch I have here, does not have the option to purchase buttons and lens. Now, why is that? The answer's obvious now, isn't it? The solar panel is mounted to the lens on this model. Now, the reason I didn't expect this is because on my previous upgrade with the B5600 series, which, as you can see here, when I click to select, it does have an option for lens and button. And that is because the solar panel and lens are completely separate in that model. So unfortunately, what that means is that in this situation, we are going to have to reassemble the watch without upgrading the lens, and I do apologize for the letdown. So to reassemble, we are going to take our module, make sure it is the correct way up, which it is, and align it carefully, because we need to make sure that the little pins touch the solar panel in the correct way, and also ensure that all of these 4 pushers can actually press the buttons accordingly. Now we need to ensure that the O-ring is ready to go on, and we have our O-ring greasing station. So all we're going to do is spin that a few times, and that's going to make sure this O-ring is nice and lubed, so that when we put it back and put the back plate back on, the seal is going to be watertight. So let's drop that in and make sure it is lined up. Now we just got to put the back plate on, make sure we're the right way up. So I'm going to be taking my viewer's advice and installing the strap prior to the bezel, which is apparently going to make things easier. And today, instead of using the titanium bezel, which is the one I was using, I'm going to use the steel so that we get a feel for how often this thing gets scratches and if it wears down at all, so that I can update you guys in the future. So we're going to install the last half of the strap, and it looks like we're going to be on record pace. So let's give this a shot and see how quickly we can get the second half in. Now, compared to last time, it was a whole ordeal with the bezel on, so I'll be pleasantly surprised if we can skip through all that. And we're in, just like that. The strap is perfectly on. So huge shout out to our viewer Evaldas, who came up with this suggestion. Really appreciate it, made it a lot easier. So let's get on to the bezel. Bezel fits on nicely, and then we're just going to use our masking taped screwdriver as per the other viewer suggestion and get all 4 of these screws back in. So here's a wrist check with the steel strap installed, and for the record, here was our titanium over here, which I can already feel the difference in the weight. The steel is definitely a whole lot heavier. If you haven't seen our comparison video where we do the weights, I'll leave that for you above. Well, I must admit I am a little disappointed that we didn't get to install the beautiful Sapphire lens today, unfortunately, but at least we did get to do a strap swap. There is one other upgrade I could try with this watch, and that is to swap these silver pushers out with the black and red ones. I do still have those from the kit which I failed in the 5610. It has that signature red button there, which would look really nice. But the only thing I'm worried about now is I don't really see the point, given that I know that I can't possibly do the screen. So let me know what you think in the comments, but I think at this point I might actually just go with another build, which I do have something special in mind. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out once that comes to fruition, and I'll leave you with a related video that you're not going to want to miss, as well as our watches playlist. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.